Hello friends, welcome back. Yeah, we got another video. And this time it's Blue Oyster Cult. So what does Blue Oyster Cult, where do they get that name from? Well, Blue Oyster Cult comes from their first manager, back when they were formed, back in the late 60s, around 1970. They're from Sunnybrook University in Long Island, California. And their manager, Sandy Pearlman, had written a book of poetry. It was never published, but he wrote that book, and it was The Writings of Imaginos. So that's what that book was titled. And the Blue Oyster Cult, in that book of poetry, they were a group of aliens that came to Earth to guide humanity. Okay? So Sandy Pearlman was their original manager. Now, they had the group was Eric Bloom on he's on rhythm guitar and vocals, Buck Dharma lead guitar and vocals. Then you had the Bouchard brothers. One was the drummer, one was the bassist, and then Lanier, he was the keyboards. And they were the main group from 71 to 81, and that's what I would call Blue Oyster Cult. So the first LP is the Blue Oyster Cult. This is their first LP. Now, this symbol here, the guy that drew the cover art, he's the one that come up with the symbol. And it's a stylized version of the astronomical symbol for Saturn. Now, that astronomical symbol for Saturn doesn't look like this, but he kind of twisted it around and he come up with this. And the group, they loved it. They thought it was great. So he was the artist for the first cover and the second cover, and you can see the symbol on there. And of course, all through these records, you're going to see that symbol on all their records throughout. Now, I believe what we're going to look at today is probably one of the finest collection of Blue Oyster Cult records in the world, because I have taken years and years and years to assemble this collection. Back in the day when you went out in the wild and you went to every record store in every city you went to, you never saw one of these, ever saw any of these records. And now with eBay, I spent years and years and years looking at eBay trying to find these records, and that's where they all come from, right out of Japan. I bought them directly from Japan off eBay, from eBay sellers. So these are not just Japan pressings, these are all original Japan pressings, because I've gone through, believe me, I've gone through the first, the second pressing, the third pressing, and listening, comparing, and then you'll learn all this stuff. That's, I've learned all that about the original Japan presses, which I've shared with you folks. So that's what these comprise of. They're all original Japan pressings of very, very rare records. So here's the first one. And all these early pressings, they're all on the CBS Sony label. And you see how the Japanese would package their records back in the day. You had a polyline, just like a MoFi sleeve. Back in 1971, that's what the Japanese were doing. And of course it comes with an inner sleeve and a lyric sheet. And the original inner sleeve is like this. Look at that nice little paper, 1971. I've got this from a different record that I put in here. Okay. And this is the Tyranny and Mutation. Now this is a US press in shrink with the hype sticker. I just threw that in the collection. Got a good deal on it just after we was looking for a lot. Now here is the original Japanese pressing of Tyranny and Mutation. And it's also on the CBS Sony label. Right? And it's got the inserts. And I'm not sure if this is all what's original to this, but this is what I've got in here now. Because when you're collecting records, you put little things here and there. Got the Japanese insert with the lyrics. And then I've got this. I've got the two, look, the mirror images of each. This is the original inner sleeve from something, and then I've got, so that's pretty cool. I don't even remember if all this was in there. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but this is what I've got in this record. After going through a number of different versions, stealing stuff out of it, who knows. And it does come with the cap OB. Goes on there. And next up is the Speaker's Corner issue. And these two are very, very rare. Go try to find one of these for sale somewhere. I doubt if you'll find one. When I bought these, there was the last couple that I could find on eBay for sale. And you know, I'm going to do a video comparing that Speaker's Corner to the first edition Japanese. We'll see who wins. I'm pulling for the Speaker's Corner. Now here's your first U.S. press of Secret Treaties. This is probably one of the favorite Blue Oyster Cult records. These first three are the best by far. They are so good. And you got the original inner sleeve, and I've got it in a disc keeper sleeve, the record. And these records are all near mint. All the covers are nice, are near mint. But this is the original U.S. press, and it's a textured cover with textured. This is the only one I've ever seen of this record like this. They're rare, they're hard to find. Then you've got the Japanese press, original Japanese pressing. If you go on eBay and look, you'll start seeing you won't hardly find this OB. There's different OBs, and those are the reissues. As we talked about this before, the original presses are the ones to get. That's the ones that sound the best. And again, it's on the CBS Sony label. Now the reissues are going to be on the red CBS Sony label because it's a later edition. And then you've got the inner sleeve, which they put into a book, and so it comes out like this. So like I said, these records are super, super rare. They're hard to get. Especially, it's hard to get one of these. Never mind, they're all like this. They're all on the first edition. And then again, I got the Speaker's Corner. Very rare. Agents of Fortune. First edition. Again, it's on the CBS Sony label, like all the other ones are. It's not on the Columbia label or the... And it is on a gatefold. Most of the Blue Oyster Cults are not gatefolds. This one was. And to be quite honest with you, this record right here, although it's got "Don't Fear the Reaper" on it, which was, a really popular song on the radio, it was a disappointment to me because I felt Blue Oyster Cult kind of copped out. They lost that hard edge they had on those first three records that they really rocked out on all the songs. This was kind of, they're going commercial here. Not that this isn't a good record. There's a lot of great songs on here, but it was just, for me, it was a little bit of a disappointment. And I resisted buying it for a number of years. Then they came out with this live LP. This is again a first edition Japanese, and it's got a big poster that comes in the record. I'll show you the poster. It's got a poster, and it's got two LPs like this on a picture, and then you've got the lyric sheet, the Japanese lyric sheet, and you've got some other pictures on here. Pretty cool. You've got all that stuff in here. Next up, Spectres. Now they're getting back. This is a record. When I bought it, I really enjoyed this. I believe it's from 76, 77. Yeah, this is 77. They're getting back to their kind of their old style again. You know, but this is where Godzilla comes into play on here. Godzilla, Golden Age of Leather. You know, Are You Ready to Rock? Going Through the Motion, I Love the Night. A lot of great songs on here. As per all these Blue Oyster Cult records. And of course, it's a first edition Japanese pressing. Again, it's on the, let's pull it out, CBS Sony label. And you get a nice little insert lyric sheet in here. Next up is Some Enchanted Evening from 78, and this one is another live LP, but it's on the first edition Japanese again. Then you've got Mirrors, and believe it or not, this was the hardest one to find on the first edition Japanese. There's a few of the second editions out there, maybe a third, but this first edition with this OB, very hard to find record. Very hard to find. For whatever reason, I guess they didn't sell well in Japan or something, but this is hard record to find. In any condition, never mind in the mint condition that this one's in. Because I think I had another one earlier than this. It didn't have the OB on it. And when I heard how great this record sounded compared to the one that I had to really search hard to get, because these records sound so much better than, you know, Columbia, the older Columbia records, you know, those Blue Oyster Cult older Columbia records, they didn't have the best fidelity on them. So that's why I've gone out and searched all these original Japanese pressings, as this one is again, Cultosaurus erectus. Now they've gone to, it's a CBS Sony, but it's got that red, it looks like a Columbia label. For 1980, that's when they changed over. 79, it was still the CBS Sony original, but then 80, now they've changed the label. This one is Fire of Unknown Origin. And this one I really actually didn't have in my collection for a long time, because there's a lot of songs on here that I really don't like. That Burning For You, that's about it. So it was kind of a disappointment, but I do have it in the collection. It just, I don't have it on a Japanese record. And then we have The Revolution by Night. Now this is a first edition Japanese, but look at this. It's still in the shrink with the cap OB on it. So that's pretty cool. A Japanese first edition still in the shrink, which is nice. Of course, you know, it's open and the record's in here. And again, it's on that same label they changed in 1980. And then they go to Club Ninja, Blue Oyster Cult. And when I saw the LP, I'm thinking, that's kind of hokey looking. But you know, originally I had bought the tape, and I brought it to work, and I listened to that cassette at work a lot. And man, I got to love this record. It is an outstanding record. It really is. And the label, it's that same CBS Sony label again, with a nice insert. And look at they've got in here that looks like one of those stars that the ninjas throw, kind of like the Blue Oyster Cult symbol, Club Ninja. I don't know where they come up with this stuff, but they got a space station, the Blue Oyster Cult symbol. And then the last one in my collection is the Imaginus Blue Oyster Cult. They worked really hard on this record. I read a story here a number of years back, and they said that this took them the longest to come up with this. This is something they strived really hard to make sure that this came out the way they did. They worked hard on it. They worked harder on this record than they did any other record that they made. And so that'll conclude the video for today. Now, if you like these videos, let me know. because I've got some other rare records I want to show to y'all. The Depeche Mode and the Blue Oyster Cult. Now those are my kind of my two big collections of records. Because, like I said before, I don't collect every record for a group, because I don't like a lot of times every record that they do. Every band, like I said in my original opening video, every band doesn't have every record that's great. You know, even like Led Zeppelin, there was a couple records there near the end that, you know, they're not as good as the first ones are. No way. Even with Blue Oyster Cult, there's a lot of good records there, but those first three, they're solid. Every song, hit after hit. They're great. So thanks for watching, and we'll be making another video soon. And appreciate all y'all for watching. Just let me know what you think about these kind of videos, if you like them or not. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.